A new report by the Wall Street Journal shows that during the Iran nuclear treaty talks, the NSA was conducting widespread espionage, as one would expect, I would expect. But while they were doing that, they were actually doing it on our allies as well, including Israel, which has made this national news. For some reason, spying on our other allies wouldn't have made it news, I suspect. And at the same time, might have also been spying on members of Congress. And so the article reports that the U.S. continued to spy on select leaders of allied nations despite President Barack Obama's pledge to curb such surveillance 2 years ago, and that it was a top priority to maintain spying on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his government. Now, behind closed doors, the White House agreed on which allied leaders would be exempt from that surveillance, such as the President of France, the Chancellor of Germany, and other NATO leaders. But the administration still allowed the NSA to target their advisors, as well as other allies, including the President of Turkey. Now, as we've talked about on the show recently, there might be some reason to do that. But they were doing that, and these are allies of ours. Now, it's interesting that they have decided a couple of leaders we won't, but we're still going to try to find out everything they've been talking about by wiretapping their advisors.
Okay, so I have what I think is a nuanced opinion on this. So it goes in a couple of different directions. First of all, you know, we have everybody at TYT pretty much is against the warrantless wiretapping. I don't know, maybe someone's secretly in favor of it, but I don't know, right? So we've been dead set against that. We don't want innocent Americans spied in on. But in this case, this is a little different. So I think that spying in on foreign governments is pretty much perfectly acceptable. So, and this is what I said after we were caught spying in on the Germans. Now, the Germans at this point are as good an ally as we have, and there was the scandal about how we were listening in on Angela Merkel's calls. Yeah. I assume we're listening in on Angela Merkel's calls when she's here, right? Yeah. So, now look, you can say, hey, there should be an exception for the United Nations. I'm probably naive enough to say yes to that, right? But overall, if they're here, go ahead. Allies, not allies, Britain, Germany, Israel, Turkey, doesn't matter. Spying on them. I think that's part and parcel of what the spying was for in the first place. Now, mainly against your enemies, right? But sometimes, let's see what Merkel's up to, right? Yeah. So you might disagree with that. Perfectly fair to disagree, but I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah. The Germans don't have U.S. constitutional rights. So, especially German government officials.
Yeah. I've always seen that as a big loophole.
Yeah. And so, and who are we kidding with the splitting of the hairs? No, I'm listening in their advisors, but not to Merkel. It's the same thing. I mean, it's in essence the same thing. So do I mind that they spied in on Netanyahu? No, not at all. The Israelis. Yeah, they're allies. No question about that. So what, right? Yeah. So now, you think the Israelis don't spy in on us when we're in Israel? Please don't mean that means you're more naive than I am.
Just when we're in Israel.
Yeah. Or wherever.
If they could do it here, they're doing it here.
No, but I want to draw a distinction, though. So Israel has had spies here in the U.S. in the past. Jonathan Pollard's the famous one, he's still in prison. We probably have spies in Israel. Having spies in an allies country, you know, it's a little bit more dicey. It's a little bit more debatable, right? I don't like Israeli or UK or German spies here because I'm an American, right?
But you expect that they're probably here.
Yeah, but I expect that they're probably here. Yeah, I'm not like aghast or shocked by that. Now, so the distinction here is, wait a minute, it's a totally different equation. If Netanyahu is talking to a U.S. congressman, that U.S. congressman, A, does have constitutional rights, okay, B, now your spying is deeply political. We were told, we were assured, no, we're just looking for terrorists. You're looking for terrorists between Netanyahu and a U.S. congressman? There are no terrorists there. I mean, when you're talking about the terrorists you're trying to catch, etc., we're not getting into state violence issues here. I don't think that's what the Obama administration is talking about when they talk about use of force, right? So there's nothing but an ally and U.S. politicians. Unacceptable. Clearly, I think overwhelmingly unacceptable to spy in on that.
Yeah. Although, as a result of that spying, we discover, what should have been obvious since he came here and gave a speech trying to do this, that Netanyahu and Israel, behind the scenes, were trying to tank the deal, which I would argue harms our national security. Now, they were doing it openly as well, but they were also doing it behind closed doors. I'm not saying that justifies it, but I'm saying, oh, that was also happening.
No, but actually, John, that makes it worse. So everybody knew that the right-wing government of Israel was against the nuclear deal we struck with Iran. Netanyahu wasn't trying to hide it.
No, like I said, he gave the speech.
Yeah, he went to Congress and said, I hate the deal. I don't want you to do it, right? And that was also trying to undermine, in our opinion, our national security. That doesn't mean we're going to arrest Netanyahu for giving that speech. No, he gets to have that speech. I think it's absurd that we allow those kind of political speeches from foreign leaders in our Congress, but it's all within everybody's rights, right? So the fact that Netanyahu is clearly opposing this deal makes it worse that we spied in on him, because that is the administration's political opponents that are the congressmen that are conspiring to defeat a political objective of the president. But they get to do that. That's not a conspiracy. That's not a thing that you do when you're a traitor. That's a thing you do when you're in a democracy.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that having a significant block of our elected representatives doing the bidding of a foreign leader should be a scandal, but it's not a conspiracy.
Yes, yes.
And we all know that they're doing it because they've been doing it for years and years.
And they're almost bragging about it. So, by the way, just important detail here. They say the NSA removed the names of the lawmakers and personal information, as well as, quote, trash talk about the White House. Okay, now, not good enough. Not good enough. You think they can't piece together which congressman it was? Or which block of congressmen it was? No, no, no. The NSA should have never passed that on to the White House. The White House should have never asked for it, okay? And by the way, did they ask for it? Senior U.S. official said, we didn't say do it, we didn't say don't do it. No, that means you
that's
asked
ambiguous. I don't know what you want me to do. Should I do it? Should I not do it?
No. You asked for the information, and the NSA gave it to you because you asked for the information. And you asked asking in a way, we'd like the information, but we're not telling you to do it. We're not telling you not to do it. That is not an excuse.
Now, I fully believe that they knew what was going on and they were doing this. I would say, again, generally, for the most part, as you pointed out, they don't have American constitutional rights. Now, that means that they still have some rights. You shouldn't drone them. You shouldn't kill them for no reason. But I expect that every country is spying on every country. We have enemies and we have allies, but allies are not our brothers. We have allies that are stronger and lighter allies in certain issues, but not other issues, sometimes in the military, sometimes in the economy. So I expect that we're going to do the spying and all of that. At the same time, the fact that dozens of people were just waiting to reveal that we had been doing the spying, and we're emphasizing the Israeli part of it, when there's nothing, I don't see anything factually here that says that there was more spying per capita on Israel than on a number of other countries, but they were waiting to do it because they knew if they just say Israel and then it's bad and it involves Obama, that's supposed to mean that he's a terrible president, but they were waiting to do that.
Now, guys, for God's sake, Washington drives me crazy. They're upset because it involves Israel. They should be upset because it involves
them.
Our representatives. It involves U.S. representatives.
They don't care about
That's
themselves
the real problem.
as much as they do about Israel.
It's just bizarre. But okay, good. You care about it. Fine. Right? I want you to care about it. Stop spying in on innocent Americans, whether they're congressmen, senators, or just U.S. citizens.